Hey everyone, it's Clint. I have a lot to talk about in this video. I'm going to try to be punctual about it. I'm going to try and care about your time and feelings. All right, so we'll do this. I want to talk about comic book writers and how much comic book writers get paid. Is it really realistic to say and aspire to being a comic book writer full time and that being your career? I think the answer is no, and I'll tell you why, exactly why. Or, as a footnote, no, if that's just what you want to do. You can take on more responsibility, and I think the answer is yes. But if you just want to write comics, I don't think it's possible. I'll show you exactly why. First off, though, first, do you see in the background here somewhere behind me? I've added a new piece. Brian Shearer did a nice Rhinox commission for me. It is so sweet. Rhinox is one of my favorite characters. I'll have to show it on a stream or something up close. Great job. Anyway, thank you, Brian Shearer. Appreciate that. I posted this on Twitter, and this was based off the last live stream. This is how realistically it works. This is the only way I know that it works, that you get more work as a writer. Okay. First off, I've written exactly one script work for hire. One script I was paid to write. I wrote it, turned it over, was happy to do so. I collected my paycheck, and I had no further obligation. Okay. It was great. It was cool. The problem is, work like that does not come often enough to justify doing it that way or expecting it to be done that way. You could supplement your income by doing that, by just writing scripts for hire. It's very difficult to find work, though. It'd take a lot of time to find that work. This is how it works more often. So I posted this tweet. I said, I'm hearing a lot of readers saying that they want Dracula to be more than just a short backup story. I'm listening. So I have some good news. Dracula is going to be epic. This started on a live stream. Someone sent in a super chat and mentioned that exactly this. They didn't want it to be an additional like ash can kind of story that's in the next Downcast campaign. They want Dracula to be something else and to be taken more seriously and to be epic. So I thought about that, and I thought, you know what? If that's what the readers want, that's what the readers are going to get. I've not only had the one person mention it, I've had several other people mention it after the fact that heard it. And so I'm listening. I still want to do that backup story because I still think it's a great story, but it is just a little one shot. And so I think I'm going to make that the Ash Can. It'll be a regular size comic, but for the Dracula campaign. And the Dracula campaign, I want to do a modern day telling of a Dracula story, my Dracula story. So that's coming. This is how you get work as a writer. If readers are interested in what you're doing, they're not going to say, hey, write a script and you'll get paid some money. They're going to say, hey, write a script. I want you to take a massive risk on this book. I want you to write a public domain character that you cannot own. You have no hope in owning this public domain character, but I want you to spend your time writing it and publishing it. And I want you to take the risk of getting an above average page rate of artists to be able to do the story for this. And if you do this, it's going to be epic and I'm going to be happy. That's how it goes. And so what this means, that the wheels turning in my head are not about writing the script. I mean, they are. I'm going to do some writing, but I can get the writing done in a matter of weeks. I can write the script for Dracula, and I'm going to write this thing full script. I can get that done in a matter of weeks. But when it comes to everything else, you're talking a major investment. You're talking many weeks more, months of work and investment and risk in making this story. So does that make me a professional comic book writer, or does that make me a professional comic book publisher or a professional comic book entrepreneur? I don't know exactly what to call myself there, but that is how it works. In the year 2020, if you want to write comics, you've got to accept all the other things that come with it, because this is somebody basically giving me an opportunity. They're telling me what they want, and I get an opportunity to write it. and I'm excited to do so. I'm privileged to do so. So I'm pulling up my campaigns here, not to, well, yes, to promote them. For we'll get that out of the way. Fatal, we crossed $87,000. Thanks to everyone that backed. Check it out in the link in the description below. Also back it. Downcast, this thing has been silently just creeping up. We passed the total from the first campaign, first Downcast campaign. So thanks everyone that supported it. That's fantastic. Again, we're creeping up, but I'm going to show you this total funds. This is from 3 campaigns. This is from some guy with under what I have like 6,000 YouTube subscribers. I'm getting close to 7,000, I think. I but some guy with a relatively small YouTube channel, and I have pulled in $168,000 in total funding. Now, and this is in the court. This is under 2 years of time. So that sounds great. It sounds like, hey, quit your job. But most of this money goes to paying artists, paying colorists, letterers, paying sometimes for pre-press. I'm going to be the pre-press man. I'm doing all that myself. Paying for printing, shipping is a major expense. There's so many things that you're spending all this money on. And then at the end of the day, you have to keep some money aside to finance the next book, to finance the next Dracula, so to speak, because the bar is being raised. People want books to come out in a more timely fashion. They don't want to wait as long. And so it does take an investment. It's a bit of a risk. And so, again, I asked the question, am I a full-time, I'm not full-time, that's for sure, but am I a comic book writing professional? I don't know. Like I think most of the money moving around doesn't really have that much to do directly with writing. It's not the effort of writing. All right, so if you look up right now, how much do comic book writers make, and you see the first thing that shows up on Google is, according to recent reports, the average annual salary of comic book writers in the United States is $48,000. Entry level salaries around $20,000 per year. That actually makes it sound like, hey, I could move into writing comics. The average is 48. You know, start at 20. You're working 2 jobs to make it work, but once you get to that 48, you know, you could live off that. Depending on where you're living, pick a cheap city to live in. You can make it work. Modest lifestyle. You know, depending on your family situation, you could make it. You could make that work. But the reality is that that's not actually how it works. I think most comic book writers are writing on a basis where they find a publisher, or this is traditionally the way that it's worked. You find a publisher, you write a script, and you try to get the thing published. And if you write something for Action Lab Comics, the highest reported, I should say, script payment was $0 to write for Action Labs, because writing isn't as valuable as all of the other creative pursuits. Even letterers are getting paid more. They have a higher page rate than writers do. Action Labs, anyway. Now we could change that. We'll go down here. Archie Comics, $35 per page for scripts. That's turns out to be $770. If you're writing a 22-page script and then you think, oh, I can see how this would work, you just need to write maybe 4 to 7 or 8, depending on how much money you need to survive. That's how many scripts you need to write per month. I could do that. It's so difficult to get writing jobs, let alone monthly writing jobs on that many books at the same time. So what has to give? You're either writing more books or you're making more money. And at the end of the day, I just don't see how you do that with writing alone. I don't think most writers do that. Let's look down here. Scripts, $50 a page. It's a little bit better, but is again, let's do a 22 pager. Where's my calculator here? I closed it. So let's say $50 times 22 pages. That's $1,100 a month. That's better, certainly better. I don't know though if that's going to get you there. I don't know. And how many scripts, how much writing work are you going to get? So more likely, the better scenario I think for writers is when you're creating your own work. When you're listening to the readers, they're giving you work. You take on the task, but you're not just a writer. I'll let you know I've been very transparent about this whole process for me. I know this video is not like, hey, here's the news happening in comics, but I know that there are a lot of people out there that are interested in making comics full time. And I can tell you that it is very rewarding. It's extremely rewarding, and not just the writing. There's a lot of other components to it that are very rewarding in the making comic books. I'm certainly a comic book creator, but I don't know. So I guess looking forward, what I'm trying to say is, if you're looking at writing comics, you want to get experience. That's for sure. That experience can be very public for a lot of people to read your stuff. It can be very private, and you're just writing by yourself for no one to see. But you have to get experience. Beyond that, though, I don't really think that writing in and of itself, writing alone, writing a script and turning it in, and then moving on to your next script, is a super viable route forward. I think that you have to take on other kinds of responsibilities to support that. And the nice thing is, I can count on myself to give myself more work as a writer. Um, I can count on readers to give me more work as a writer by simply, you may just try to listen. You guys tell me what you want, and we make more of those kinds of things. That's really the goal, and I think it works. On the other hand, I've seen a lot of writers complaining, probably mainstream writers or indie guys that have been around for a long time, and they will complain from time to time that they're just, not getting noticed, or an editor's holding them down, or any number of problems that come in. I talked to Shane Davis a little bit about writing, and he explained the process of just getting a script approved, just getting an idea approved. You have to put so much effort into it ahead of time before you actually get in to write the script itself and to publish the thing, or you end up writing the script. You do all the work ahead of time before you ever get published. That's how it works in prose as well. You're not going to get a publishing deal before you write the thing. You have to write the whole book first. You got to write that thing, you got to finish it, and then you're submitting it and hoping that a publisher is going to pick it up. And most of the time they don't. It's just effort put into writing. That's it. And it's good practice. But are you a professional then at that point? Guys, my point is, indie comics is the best that it's ever been right now. The best that it's ever been. I can't think of a better time. Uh, like, as long as there is crowdfunding that's made it possible, I don't have a lot of disposable income to spend on writing comics. It was a risk for me to do the first one. I had to sell a bunch of magic cards. But when you're crowdfunding, the nice thing is then you can invest and you can sort of snowball things and make things a little bit bigger and a little bit better over time. So let me know if you have different ideas. If you think that there's a better route to become a professional comic book writer, let me know. I think that this is the way to do it, though. This is it. This is the best that it gets to. So much better than the alternatives. So let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out my campaigns. Fatal for sure, guys. We got to hit that 90K. And then it'll be, man, a stone's throw away from 100,000, which would be amazing. Downcast as well is available. We're running out of books here. So get them while they last. Get them while they're hot. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.